The September air in the Montana wilderness was crisp, carrying the scent of pine and impending change. Kalin Quaid, an experienced and passionate hiker, set out with her loyal Bernese Mountain Dog, Baron, by her side. Their destination was a remote trail, a favorite of Kalin's, promising solitude and breathtaking vistas. Kalin, with her bright turquoise jacket and a wide smile, looked at ease in the rugged landscape. Baron, his thick fur a mix of black, white, and rust, trotted faithfully ahead, his tail wagging with the joy of the open trail. Their planned 2-day hike was interrupted by an unseasonable and violent storm. The sky, once a brilliant blue, turned a bruised purple as heavy rain began to fall. The wind howled through the canyons, and the gentle babble of a nearby stream quickly escalated into a roaring torrent. When Kalin and Baron failed to return home on schedule, a search party was launched. For weeks, rescue teams scoured the mountainside, their hope dwindling with each passing day. The initial theory was that Kalin and Baron, caught in the flash flood, had been swept away by the raging river. The wilderness, they concluded, had claimed another victim. After an exhaustive search, the case went cold, and the Quaid family, along with the entire community, was left to mourn a loss without a body. 6 years passed, and Kalin Quaid and her dog became a tragic legend whispered around campfires. Another cautionary tale of the wild Montana frontier. 6 years later, the silence that had settled over. Kalin's disappearance was shattered by an unexpected discovery. It was a warm day in June 2015, when a state contractor named Garrett Nolan was performing inspections on buildings for a maintenance project in the wilderness. He came across a derelict cabin, overgrown with weeds, a structure known among hikers as a potential temporary shelter. While inspecting the dilapidated chimney, Nolan noticed something unusual. The very top of the flue was carefully sealed with a patchwork of wood and bricks, a deliberate act that was not part of the original structure. His curiosity piqued. He began to pry it open, assuming it might be a den for some animal. But as the last piece was removed, what he saw left him stunned. Inside the chimney was a desiccated, contorted form of an animal. It was a dog. It was Baron. The mummified remains of Baron were frozen in a horrific position. Its head pointed towards the top of the flue, as if it had been desperately trying to escape. The grotesque discovery brought local investigators back to the cold case. The dog's remains were sent to a veterinarian, Dr. West, who through a unique paw deformity, confirmed it was indeed Baron. The doctor concluded that Baron had died from smoke, inhalation and heat exposure, evidence that a fire had been burning below him while he was trapped in the chimney. New questions arose. How did Baron get stuck in there? Where was Kalin? And why would anyone deliberately seal a chimney, cutting off the dog's only escape? The mystery deepened. The discovery of Baron's remains shifted the investigation from a tragic accident to a potential homicide. The cabin became the new center of the case. As forensic teams meticulously scoured the interior, they found Kalin's backpack hidden in the crawl space beneath the floorboards. Its contents were mostly intact, but a crucial item was missing: Kalin's handgun, which she always carried for protection. The absence of the weapon suggested a struggle, or perhaps a deliberate act of theft. The most peculiar clue, however, was found carved into the underside of the mantelpiece above the fireplace. Barely visible and expertly etched were a series of geometric symbols, a strange sequence of triangles and circles. They didn't appear to be random graffiti. They had a deliberate, almost ritualistic quality to them. The investigation stalled for months as the symbols were run through various databases, but no matches were found. A breakthrough came when an investigator on the team, who had a background in art history, recognized the style. The carvings were similar to a custom metalwork commission he had seen years prior. He traced the commission to a remote, secluded farm owned by two individuals, Deacon Yardley and Ree Xavier. The farm was known for its privacy and had a reputation for being off the grid. The symbols on the mantelpiece matched the unique insignia used in the farm's custom metalwork. The seemingly unrelated pieces of evidence began to form a chilling pattern. The police obtained a search warrant for the farm, convinced that the answers to Kalin's disappearance were hidden there. The search of Deacon Yardley and Ree Xavier's farm was a turning point in the case. The police found Kalin's missing handgun hidden in a toolbox in the barn. But the most disturbing discovery was inside the barn itself. The space had been converted into a grotesque sanctuary for ritualistic practices, with the very same geometric symbols from the cabin carved into the walls and floor. The air was thick with the unsettling scent of incense and decay. Confronted with the overwhelming evidence, Deacon Yardley broke down and confessed. His story was chilling. He and Rhea Xavier, part of an esoteric group, had been at the cabin during the storm, performing a ritual. Kalin and Baron, seeking shelter from the downpour, had stumbled upon them. They had offered the pair a place to stay for the night, feigning kindness. While Kalin slept, they saw an opportunity. They viewed her as a sacrifice, a pure soul whose demise would empower their rituals. Yardley and Xavier strangled Kalin in her sleep. Baron, sensing the attack, fought back viciously, biting Yardley and leaving a deep gash on his arm. In a fit of rage, Yardley grabbed the dog, forced it into the cabin's fireplace, and sealed the chimney with bricks and wood. He then lit a fire, burning Baron alive as a final, cruel act of revenge. They buried Kalin's body in a shallow grave on their farm, convinced their sacrifice was complete. Yardley's confession led the police to the exact location of Kalin's remains, bringing a sense of closure to a family that had grieved for 6 long years. Both Deacon Yardley and Rhea Xavier were arrested, tried and sentenced to life in prison. The case, which began with a hiker's disappearance in the vast wilderness, ended with a horrifying revelation of cultish violence and a crime scene hidden in plain sight.